Hi ho! It's me, Awkward Toby. That was an awkward introduction. And today I'm gonna be teaching about anatomy because I was asked to on Art Street Medibang. So here we have a picture of Sayoko. This is gonna be my reference for drawing like shapes because that's what we're gonna start with. Woo! Basic shapes. Okay, so heads, circle. They always start with the basic shapes. Circle, chin. With a guy's chin, instead of doing a triangle, do a square. Do a square. Or you could just keep doing a triangle. I mean, remember, um, necks are never just smooth. That's not a basic shape, but this is very important. It's not just flat. Basic shaping this, because it's the chest, remember you have rib cages, so basically you create a rib cage yourself, but you don't add the lines in the rib cage. It's just, for example, this is because it's a place of movement, I'm putting a circle to remind me. And then this is how I do the hips and stuff. The thighs will be oval. Remember, place of movement goes like the knee. It's not a place of movement. Well, it is because it bends, but it's not a place of rotation, which is different. Because places of rotation, you always have to remember how they rotate, which is how I'll put with the wrist. Go down. This place bends and moves. You know, your shoulders move. So circle, circle, circle. See? Remember, hands will. The average arm ends here in the middle of the thigh. So when you're bending an arm or you're extending an arm, remember that you have to make that seem like it'll end up right here. Hands are actually pretty easy. So let's just draw like, usually when I have a hand, you always start with like a basic form like this, and add wherever there's a joint or movement, add an oval to help you know where the hand bends or the fingers bend. Remember, thumbs are short, they end at the first joint of your index finger, and thumbs are also very wide. Always remember that too. So with all these basic shapes, you can use that and sketch out like an outline. Let's say you use this bad boy right here to go down and go out, and boom. Always remember, again, necks are never just flat, because this will create your your necks here, yeah, and your neckline and stuff. And then this goes out. Remember the thickness that you have to draw it. Look at your own arm. Your own arm will help you a lot during these, or just Google a reference. References are very important, because, like, you know, they help you find basic body proportions and how the real life body works. There's this thing where people think that stomachs are flat. No, there's the stomach bump because holds organs. Remember that, because it's not just flat. If you want to make it realistic, like, I'm not saying that your art style has to be realistic. You just have to grasp the concept of like how the real life like body functions and moves. Like, always know how to do realism before you know how to do cartoonism. It helps you to know the basics so that even your art, like, it looks good, even if you're like not doing realism. Usually for feet, I just draw flat. I'm not very good at drawing feet. Maybe some tutorial will come where I teach Shiva how to draw feet, but today is not that day. And yeah, that's how to draw basic shapes. here is also gonna be like a quick basic shape thing where like it's pretty easy to just draw basic shapes, and it works as a guide and it'll help you. So I have to restart this. So guys are more square than females, so when you're doing it, make sure that like maybe the shoulders are gonna be more square. But that also depends on like a race, because Filipinos tend to have broader like Filipina like girls tend to have broader shoulders than like somebody like in a different race. Like the body builds come into it's a huge factor. It's not just everybody's the same, everybody's different, and we all know that. Again, guys are more square, so always important. Like here's a good example of this would be a female's leg, and it's a guy's leg tends to be like it tends to be thicker on average, especially like here to there, and yeah, just remember guys are bigger, like they're taller and are different, body builds are different. Always remember that. Here the necks will be also different. Guys have Adam's apples, and their necks tend to be wider, I guess. Well, that's what, if you're drawing an anime, yeah. But it's just because of the shoulders being different and stuff, and where you'll usually find like muscle mass. The hands are really different. Girls' hands are different than like a guy's hand, and that's not bad. They're just different. Like you won't see me drawing the same things. Here is where I will explain like body types. This is a triangle body. It has broader shoulders and a smaller hips. Rectangles are usually equal, and circles are usually like wider in the front. Hourglass has bigger shoulders, bigger hips, small torso. Pear has bigger hips, smaller like shoulders. I suggest googling this because it helps a lot more than just an explanation. It gives you a visual representation that's a lot better. Here's where I explain how faces work. So basically here there's a forehead. Never forget that. There's a forehead. A forehead is roughly the size of like your hand, I guess. Like horizontally on your forehead. Always like use your own body to help you figure out proportions. In the middle of your eyes, because your eyes will be above your cheeks. Remember that to draw cheeks. Your eyes will be above that. And in between your eyes, there will always be enough space for like a third eye. Here's where you put your nose, underneath and above here. Your lips have space, and your characters will have a chin, so your mouth doesn't go straight under, like directly under the nose, and it doesn't go directly onto the chin. So your mouth has to be in a good place. There's always going to be like eye lines up here, and then you add the eyebrows. I'd say eyebrows are one of the most expressive things. Some may say eyes, but with your eyebrows, it helps you to convey emotions. Because I could make these eyes like, see, angry eyebrows, make them look evil, surprised or happy, and like caring. Always remember that. Here's the circles where like you add a circle, you add two lines. This will help tell you like what perspective you're gonna like put it. Your eyes will be like, if they're here, then your perspective is gonna be up. Like your perspective can be downwards too. Wherever you put like these lines is where like how and where you're going to draw your facial features. I explained here that older people where to put the lines, forehead underneath your eyes. Your smile lines also work. And yeah, to make your characters look older, just smaller eyes and move them upwards a little bit. Like, not unrealistically upwards, but upwards. Also, since I draw in like a manga and anime style, the girls will have bigger eyes than the guys. Unless you don't want that, then you don't have to do that. It's just, yeah. And younger characters, their eyes are just gonna be bigger, and their heads are gonna be bigger than, yeah. And this is a foot. So what you do here, I'm not very good at drawing feet, and like, you add like your circles, this C circles, and then add this. How the foot works. Basically, you just create like a diagram like how you did with the hands. And I think I've explained everything to my own knowledge. No, I haven't. Remember that your back has shoulder blades and a spinal cord. Because sometimes you can get confused with the backs, but the shoulder blades help a lot to like write what you want to say. Yes, and spinal cord. Remember your spine doesn't stretch to the point that it breaks unless like you've practiced. So like I'm talking about like the average person. If it's not an average person, then like do whatever you want to do. Just make sure, remember that it's there, cause it'll help you a lot. Yeah. Always remember when you're drawing that everything has a silhouette, and dynamic poses are better if you have an outline. Thank you, and you're welcome. I know. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say.